reason. I want to know the spiritual reason behind it. Like, then he said, girl, it's the same God. No, Jesus is different. Like, Jesus is the Messiah. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is the representation of God. And then God told us if we don't accept his Son, we don't receive anything out of it. So us praying to Allah, God, it's kind of like pointless if you don't receive Jesus.
As you all know, I'm not one to criticize anyone's spiritual path, but what are we doing, baby? In an attempt to distract the internet from the mountains of turmoil she has been generating since becoming famous for being a combative, emotional, and weeping baby mama with a rapper's name tattooed across her throat, Miss Chrisean Rock has once again climbed on that church mic, crying, singing, and doing everything in her power. Now, child, the drinking, arguing, and partying with the baby on her hip make her want to stand in front of the audience with her arms out as if she were Mary Magdalene's second coming. Don't get me wrong, while there is nothing wrong with the baby girl surrendering to the Lord, I do object to her performing what sounds like a Blueface diss track while wearing a costume of worship. Don't get me wrong. Many people were with her, but I wasn't. They left comments like, I don't care how many times you have to run back to God. Keep running back to him. Furthermore, I won't lie, God truly transforms people. Have a time, everyone. While the others watched the film, we wondered, now girl, was this a performative holiness? Additionally, you all recall that this is not even the first attempt by Chrisean to portray herself as rescued. She meets Jesus and begins posting gospel lines on her Instagram story as if the Holy Spirit had just gotten good Wi-Fi. Every time the internet drags her, CPS snoots on her or Blueface posts something reckless. Then there was the entire issue with Chrisean not fueling her spiritual energy.
God said, let there be light on day number 1. Then he lit up the world with the rays of his Son. But in his great plan, there was more to be done. God imagined you, Chrisean, in his plans from the start. And carried love for you. Chrisean, deep in his heart. Hold on, I'm not done. Hold on, don't bring it.
But let's be honest, this isn't Chrisean's first time attending church, so I'm not upset with anyone who isn't buying this new leaf she's on. If you've been following her journey, you're aware that she always talks about healing, praying, and relying on God whenever she gets pulled for a new mess. When life becomes difficult, there's nothing wrong with turning to your faith. However, when it occurs like clockwork, I do raise an eyebrow. It was the Blueface drama the last time. Before that, there was the controversy around the baby mama. And now, after weeks of people making assumptions about her baby's behavior and health, the gospel playlist has arrived. Perhaps it's maturing. Perhaps we are reading too much into nothing, or perhaps it's PR. But if there's one thing I know for sure, no one is allowing. Boof is her child. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not here to diagnose. Yet many people found something concerning in this church video. The way Chrisean's son moved, or rather, did not move, on stage alarmed several people. I know many of you have been saying that we should move on from this child situation since it has been going on for far too long. But when that video came out, all of you emerged from the woodworks with your medical opinions, and the child will grow up affected. Therefore, allow people who wish to speak to continue, as the child appears unresponsive and disengaged as well. According to what the Twitter user stated after harming her unborn child by drinking and acting recklessly during her pregnancy, Chrisean Jr. and the two have returned to their church tour. He doesn't resemble the two parents at all. A video of him that she shared online, people are now saying that because of his mother, he is blind and visually impaired at the age of nearly 2. People are certain that the infant may have significant developmental difficulties because of this and the fact that the mother hasn't yet addressed it directly. There were inquiries. Of course, other people claimed that the infant was simply relaxing and taking care of himself. According to others, something deeper is happening, and they're annoyed that Chrisean appears more interested in singing than in addressing the situation. One thing is certain, caring for that child should come first if this is actually her spiritual rebirth. Listen, please keep in mind anything, And unfortunately for Chrisean, her reputation comes before her when you're known for fighting in restrooms, posting drama every 3 days while breastfeeding and alternating between bottle service and baby gaddies. Hookah hits. People won't take your Sunday morning seriously. But don't we all have a messy past? That's the messy part. Yes, Chrisean was crying, and it appeared as though she was going through a difficult time. But in this day and age of filters, cameras, and well-planned comebacks, tears aren't always the truth. Some people firmly think it was an intensely emotional spiritual awakening. Others believe the moment was a well-timed performance to change her public image. Both of those could be the case. She might be overwhelmed. She may be maturing. But she may also be conscious of the fact that the headlines have been softened by church tears. One item that caused a lot of discussion was the timing of everything. For example, consider it. When a group of image consultants told you to get offline, go to church, cry a little, hold the baby, and show remorse, wouldn't you be singing along with them? Particularly if brand deals, custody, or even court cases are at stake online. It's not fake, but let's not pretend that the timing isn't questionable. However, allow me to clarify first. You guys use this as negative talk against Crow's name. Chrisean is young and has been through a lot. People can change. The average woman may have been completely overwhelmed by that blue-face relationship alone. She hasn't had peace or stability, and it's obvious that she's been struggling with self-worth and public expectations as a mother. So if this church event was a real turning point and she was genuinely attempting to grow, we rooted for her after she broke generational patterns and found peace. Just prayers up, no shame, no judgment. However, we'll see through it if this was only another stop on the Feel Sorry For Me tour. Growth is not a live stream, but a way of life. At the pulpit, redemption doesn't end. It's a walk daily. Whether these were genuine tears or a carefully timed moment, one thing is certain, the internet won't let her slide this time. Chrisean has already cried and promised to change. We've seen tattoos of crosses, the gospel playlist with spiritual captions. But now is the time for action. What's the latest on her baby's health? We're not saying she's entirely responsible for the chaos she was part of, but where is the consistency in this new life she's promoting? Nobody's expecting perfection. We just want to know if this was a brief switch up or a real transformation. But what do you guys think? Is this just a spiritual smokescreen to dodge drama? Or is Chrisean Rock actually finding her faith? Do you think she's grown, or are you treating these church tears like reruns? Drop your thoughts in the comments.